confirmed by this honorable body. Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators, Liberia and Japan enjoy a relationship marked by high mutual respect, cordiality, and friendship. Since the establishment of diplomatic relations in 1962, the government of Japan has made enormous contributions towards the rebuilding of Liberia. The government of Japan has stood with Liberia during some of our most difficult times. During the 14-year civil crisis in Liberia, Japan made substantial financial contributions to rebuilding of communities in post-war Liberia. Japan's technical and economic assistance to Liberia is valued in several millions United States dollars. Also, at the end of the Liberian Civil War, Japan initiated disarmament, demobilization, rehabilitation, and reintegration program for children associated with fighting forces. The government of Japan partnered with the government of Liberia in constructing the Gorbachev Market and the construction of the Douala Market. As part of its social and economic project in Liberia, Japan provided food and petroleum aid to Liberia, a US $9 million education grant, the rehabilitation of the Liberian Japanese Maternity Center, the provision of medical equipment and dispatch of the Japanese health expert to Liberia, and the provision of human capacity training for over 100 Liberian government officials in Japan. In addition to that, Japan has contributed immensely to human resource development and capacity building skills of Liberians by awarding scholarships through the Ministry of Education, Culture, Sports, Science, and Technology. Furthermore, Japan has provided short-term training programs through Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, to Liberians. Japan has helped in the construction of modernized housing units in rural communities for community dwellers. Mr. Chairman and honorable senators, other notable support received from the government of Japan include the use of the Japanese counterpart fund for the purchase and distribution of paddy and seed rice to small farmers, the ongoing rehabilitation of the Monrovia power system, and the construction of the Somalia Drive, also known as the Japan Freeway. During the deadly corona pandemic, Japan provided a consignment of medical supplies valued at $3.3 million. Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators, in furtherance of Liberia-Japanese relations, former President, His Excellency George Monrovia, and some officials of the Liberian government visited Japan to attend the Qatar summit, which was held in August 2019. During the summit, the former President of Liberia met with His Excellency Shinzo Abe in Yokohama, where bilateral issues were discussed. Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators, I ran for the presidency of Liberia in 2023 general elections as the standard bearer of the grassroots development movement. I came in third place in elections behind incumbent President His Excellency George Monrovia and His Excellency President Joseph Boakai. There is a large body of knowledge that suggests Liberia is a wealthy country, but its wealth is not reflected in its people. Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators, you are aware, if Liberia is to become competitive, we must take action to invest heavily in education, agriculture, healthcare, housing, energy, technology, roads, and the things set forth in the President's arrest agenda. Africa is considered as an emerging giant in the 21st century, and Liberia must be part of that story. Liberia is richly endowed with many resources that gives me the optimism that developmental transformation is possible. if we as a people have the political will and the patriotism to do so. Rwanda's dramatic transformation after genocide also proves that sustainable growth in development and social change is possible anywhere, including Liberia. Mr. Chairman, if I'm confirmed as ambassador, I will promote Liberia's interest and work with Japan and other nations to form the best partnerships to address common national and global challenges. It will be my highest ranking, I will be the highest ranking representative to the country and the chief diplomatic representative of the President of Liberia to Japan. I will effectively maintain mutual relations between the Republic of Liberia and Japan and other Asian countries and promote sustainable development initiatives in the best interests of Liberia. In addition, I will work with the President and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to ensure that Liberia is fully represented at the Japan's 9th the Chad Conference on African Development. During this conference, we will have the opportunity to network and establish new partnerships on a high level, promote Liberian investment opportunities, and share learning on various development issues and objectives with other countries in reference to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Mr. Chairman, I will monitor and report on Liberia's relations with Japan to enhance and influence Liberia's foreign policy objectives. Further, I will coordinate high-level visits, negotiations, finalization of agreements, and memorandum of understanding in consultation with the President and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I commit to working with the President and the government of Liberia to ensure that the embassy and staff are equipped with the tools to work effectively to strengthen our relations with Japan and other countries in Southeast Asia. I will ensure that the embassy staff are adequately trained, and we will develop a state-of-the-art website rewarding of government and foreign service. Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators, if confirmed, I will work diligently to attract direct foreign investment in Liberia, especially in terms of agriculture, education, energy, tourism, transportation, roads, and other sectors as set forth in the President's arrest agenda. I will work with the Japanese government to provide more Liberians with training opportunities, especially in science, technology, engineering, and math. I will be a voice for our diplomatic interests and strengthen our relations with Japan and other Asian countries to encourage investments that will accelerate economic growth and development in Liberia. Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators, with your help in terms of budgetary allocation and oversight, we can strengthen our diplomatic relations with Japan, open new frontiers of trade and investment, and cultural exchange in Asia. However, like other missions of the Liberian government, the embassy in Japan experienced financial constraints, especially in areas of rent payment, transportation, lack of logistics, and timely disbursement of salaries and allowances of diplomatic and local staff. Mr. Chairman, distinguished senators, I do solemnly pledge that if confirmed, I will execute my duties faithfully and conscientiously with transparency, accountability, and abiding faith that Liberia will rise again. Mr. Chairman and distinguished senators, thanks for hosting this hearing, and I respectfully yield back.
Thank you. We will now proceed to the interactive
I do solemnly pledge that If confirmed, I will execute my duties.
To the best of my ability. Mr. Arbiter, what's the name of your concept?
The grassroots development movement.
You're surprised, eh? I just put out some part of your submission. The game will not be when you recognize ELBC and thanks to the management of UG Fagon at ELBC for having these hearings live on ELBC so that our people can follow and know what we do here, how long we do what we do here. And thanks to all of the other pieces of media institutions that are carrying this hearings live. The floor is now open for interaction. We start from the far right. Normally, let's use the wisdom of the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, a very ranking member of this committee, Senator Thomas Eya Newman. He's always blessed to be on the far right, so we commend with him.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you very much. So the three nominees, how many of you met with the President before this hearing today?
In August of 2024, after the
second person, follow-up question, nominee. The President will discuss his foreign policy.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Senator. I met with His Excellency, it was in February of this year, with us, ambassadors in Chargé, our head of missions were back home for the inauguration.
Mr. Nominee, the question is very straight-jacketed. Regarding your nomination, you as the nominee, have you met with the President?
No.
Since before your nomination and since after? Have you met with the President?
No.
So that you will know what his foreign affairs vision is. That's the question.
Yes, but the question is in two forms, Honorable Senator. One is meeting with the President, and then the other issue about the foreign policy. I'm already working at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and signed the Qatar mission.
Have you met with the President?
No.
Regarding your nomination, since after your nomination?
No, not met.
Okay. Please proceed, sir.
Honorable Senator. Honorable Senator, yes, I met with the President just a little less than a week plus ago. And I've also been in close collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Your meeting with the President, was it because of your nomination in the Foreign Service or as chairman of local board?
It was because it was a related matter as chairman of the board of local.
Yeah, so the question is, regarding your nomination to the Foreign Service, have you had a meeting or sat down with the President of Liberia?
No, but I've worked in close consultation.
No, lead up for that. Whichever, yes or declare. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Sila, Honorable Sila, Ambassador nominee Sila, you worked in Qatar from 2015, and gradually you became a chargé d'affaires. What was your accomplishments?
Well, thank you. I was placed October 2015 as Minister Counselor, Deputy Chief of Mission at our mission in Qatar. I'll just say, I think quite recently, maybe less than 2 months ago. One of the biggest achievements was able to engage Elon Musk to have a conversation with His Excellency through the Foreign Minister on SpaceX to come to Liberia to be able to establish SpaceX in Liberia, Starlink, especially Starlink. So that was one of the recent achievements, trying to go extraordinary to get investment opportunity in Liberia. And that was very successful because of the leadership of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Madam Sarah Nyanti. When I contacted her, she was very magnanimous to open the line to make sure that the security was very clear about security in terms of communication with the president. So that's one of the achievements. There are many other achievements. I also did establish an MOU with Aspire Academy in the government of Liberia about some 2 years ago. Aspire Academy is the biggest sports academy in the world. I was able to even engage Aspire such a way that they came in Liberia and did some concrete assessment of youth development work in Liberia. There are other land ministries and agencies that I was able to get an MOU done through the Ministry of Health of Liberia and the Ministry of Health, Public Health in Qatar. Quite recently, engaged the Chief of Commerce to participate in Qatar African Business Forum. And the other thing is we're able to rectify the air service agreement as charged that Qatar Airways should come to Liberia, both countries. I think the 54 legislature rectify the air service agreement between Liberia and Qatar, and the Surah Council of the state of Qatar also ratified that agreement. And quite recently, when the minister was in Qatar in September, we engaged the Minister of Transport to see whether Qatar Airways can start operations in Liberia. So these are some of the achievements that we have done since 2018. But there are many others, other ones. But I'll take you from our previous Ambassador Designate. I don't want to.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Today, 21st century, Liberia is nominating young people as ambassadors. And I believe your nomination brings something different to the diplomatic table. And that which it brings is to become laptop ambassador. What is your understanding of an ambassador being a laptop ambassador?
Well, thank you. Liberia and the world globally, in terms of diplomacy, we are moving into economic diplomacy. And economic diplomacy is almost on the wheels. People do shadow diplomacy, moving up and down, trying to get investment opportunity in your country. I think what we did in Qatar, we were able to do investment presentations in different sectors, whether in the private sector, whether it's individual Qatari, or whether in different institutions in Doha. We did a comprehensive assessment of all of the investment envelope in Liberia, whether it's natural resources, whether it's about transportation, whether it's about agriculture, whether it's about fishery. We did all of that, and we came up with a very good presentation. And we moved around from place to place. We engaged the Pakistani Business Forum Council and presented Liberian interest in terms of investment opportunity. So laptop diplomats are people who are moving up and down, trying to sell their country and using it in a way, such a way to bring people to Liberia. Even in 2019, I brought in about 11 potential investors in Liberia in 2019 before the COVID. And that was done because we were able to move from place to place doing presentation about the potential of investing in Liberia.
How many of the 19 you brought?
How many of them stay on board in Liberia?
Well, I think one of the things about us in Liberia, one of the constraints and challenges that we have is the purpose of feasibility studies. And Honorable Senator, you know how feasibility studies is so expensive. So when you bring investors here and we don't have a lot of feasibility studies done. It's difficult for them to come around. But what I can say to you is that quite recently, for instance, in terms of education, the Ministry of Education is benefiting from that trip in 2019. Qatar Fund for Investment, Qatar Fund for Development, sent in, I think, $5.3 million through the Ministry of Education for out of school children. And that was done through that investment because those investors use some of their social corporate and send it to Qatar Fund for Investment so they can be able to do some humanitarian work. And like that. So,
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Nominee for Japan. You mentioned your ranking in the third place during this recent election. How should that influence your confirmation hearing today?
Thank you very much. Well, I don't know how much is that going to influence my confirmation today, but I thought it was worth mentioning given the kind of creativity and innovation we brought to the table. I think it is also very important with the same level of creativity and innovation as we go into the new role as ambassador to Japan.
Last question. My last question to the three nominees. Have you ever heard of making orange juice, using lemon juice to make orange juice in the Foreign Service?
Considering, Mr. Senator, I've now worked in the Foreign Service, but I think I understand that phrase. It's pretty much making do with the little you have to get the best out of it. My understanding is the Foreign Service is not a very glorious place to go and work. It's mainly sacrificial that you go out to serve your country. And there will be times where resources are limited. You have to pull yourself by the bootstrap and continue to work until the job is done.
Yes, I'm actually familiar with the terminology. Being a Foreign Service officer is one of the highest forms of service to our country. During the COVID period, when we had serious challenging time in Liberia, I was able to open a line between His Highness Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, the Emir of the State of Qatar, and President Weah, so they can have a conversation, and they did have a conversation about support for COVID. And out of that, there were some resources that came to support the Ministry of Health in terms of combating COVID in Liberia. So yes, so Foreign Service officers, we're using honey, lamb, and make wine out of it. It's because the service that we do, we try to look for opportunities for our country, and we do that with pride, with all of our challenges. And you, former foreign minister, you know many of our challenges. And we try to do that such a way that our country can benefit, and I think that's the methodology in terms of that theory in our service.
I'm fully familiar with the terminology, and it means making the best out of the worst. Foreign service is more sacrificial in its nature, and allowing you to use your own creativity and innovation to make things happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Officer, when in your response to the question of Makoli regarding the significance of your mention of your political placement on the ballot and place, you said you thought it would help because of the creativity that you brought to the table. What creativity are you talking about?
Specifically mentioning, I did not have enough time to add to that, but it also spoke to the president's own preferment of inclusive government. And I thought making specific reference to that will underscore inclusion and the president's method of ensuring that despite or irrespective of your own political affiliation, you could be a part of the governing process.
Where's the creativity?
Well, in terms of if you want to talk about political operations, I was making specific reference that from a man coming from nowhere within the political paradigm, who no one knew his name or knew of him, was able to use the kind of innovation and creativity to come third in an election.
Innovation and creativity, like an instance.
Of elections, operations, political campaign operations.
Do you think it was a mistake?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a mistake. Maybe it may have been wrong in the place, but I wouldn't say it was a mistake. I think it was trying to draw a parallel or draw attention.
Okay, so let's proceed. I will come back to that creativity. Senator Nyantuan of Lima County. And one was in process, our colleague, Senator Nyantuan, entered, and so it's his time to interact, but he will introduce himself properly first.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and distinguished senators, to the nominees and family members and observers. My name is Nyan D. Twain Jr., Senator of Lima County, and a member of this committee, and chairman of the Committee on Modernization.
The microphone you're using, he modernizing them.
Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chairman, to interact with this distinguished nominee. We'll start with Mr. Johnson. I went through your CV, quite impressive, but I think your CV is not what we're going to talk about here today, because I know you were well vetted by the executive management before you came here. And so you are going to Morocco. There is this long-standing problem with Liberian students in Morocco. That problem has never gone away. Have you thought about it? And as Ambassador Designate, if confirmed, have you made an allowance of how you solve some of that problem? They've always either they have been mistreated, they are homeless, allowances and staffing not going on time, they got problem with local leaders. Have you thought about it?
Thank you, Mr. Senator. Indeed, I have thought about it. I tried to have a meeting with the Minister of Education before my confirmation. I couldn't get a meeting, but as an outsider, it's simple. For me, we need to look at that scholarship program. If the government of Morocco, the Kingdom of Morocco is giving us scholarships, I think we need to tailor those scholarships in the right direction and the right area, particularly in the area of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. What I think we also need to do, Mr. Senator, is to take stock of all of our students who are in Morocco. For example, those who went there 2019, where are they now? What have they done? Again, like I said, I tried to meet with the minister. I didn't meet with her, but the unofficial information I'm getting, students are leaving from here saying they want to do one thing and they go to Morocco and do something else. We're going to try to look into that and bring that to the center. Because I think the biggest thing, the best thing that Morocco is doing for us is to help develop our human capacity. And we cannot play around with that kind of opportunity and go and squander that opportunity. without casting blame on anybody, I think that is a program that needs to be looked at thoroughly. And if I'm confirmed, I promise you I will look at that.
Thank you.
I'm happy to hear that at least you have thought about it. I have no further questions for you, and I just hope that based on your CV and what you presented here today, you'll be able to convince the committee enough to confirm you. Thank you.
Mr. Secretary.
Okay.
Mr. Ali Silla. The year was 2009.
Ali Silla arrived at the Ministry of Youth and Sports as an SES personnel. I was assistant minister at the time. And we worked together for, I think, 2 years. And I just wanted to acknowledge that the energy that you brought to your job, that I was somehow directly supervising at the time, or indirectly, that energy will continue with you. And I hope that yours stay at the, foreign mission, and what you've done there, coupled with your CV and the qualification, will speak for you, so that committee members can be convinced enough to give you some form of confirmation. I don't have further questions for you. Mr. Appleton, I have a question for you. Did you or do you want this job?
I do.
Did you lobby, negotiate, or ask for this job?
No, sir.
You are under oath, and I will repeat that question. Did you lobby for this job?
No, sir.
So the president, in his own wisdom, just wanted you to be ambassador, call you one evening or morning, and say, Mr. Appleton, I'm going to appoint you ambassador to Japan.
Yes, sir. The president used his wisdom.
You are the chairman of the board, Luca. Is that correct?
That is correct.
What is the salary?
This is not a salary structure for the board of directors.
What do you take home at board stipend monthly?
There's not monthly stipends for the board of directors.
How do you get remunerated?
It's on a quarterly basis where we have board quarterly fees.
What that amount will be?
4,500.
Again, I will remind you that you are on oath.
That is correct.
I want you to restate that amount again. What is your quarterly remuneration?
$4,506.
Is that what you meant there?
We met $5,000.
No, when we take the record.
Honestly.
Let me make sure.
Morocco, is that correct?
Honestly.
It meant $5,000 there.
It's $5,000
Please take note. And you reduce it to 4,500.
It's $5,000 gross, but the net is $4,500.
So that's why you meant it.
That is correct.
So to be fair, so since you went on local as chair, you have neither increased nor decreased when you were on the board, correct?
Correct.
Any normal investigator,
Yeah.
any other from your question?
Correct.
No, so let's be clear. Since you came to local or you went to local for the board, you have neither increased nor decreased the board fees.
The board fees was initially increased by $8,000 by the resolution of the board of directors. That made
No, what was increased? No. Husband, me, I'm restricting. If it was increased by resolution but it did not take effect, that I increase. Anything that goes beyond what we met there is a question we're asking. A proposal that did not go through is not an increment. since you became chair of NOCA, have you increased nor decreased the remuneration that you made there? Question.
Have not increased.
Okay. So we wanted to be clear with the answer. Senator, please go.
No, really.
You have no vote. No,
Okay.
repeat that you didn't increase.
We have not increased.
Okay. Senator, please proceed.
Thank you. I will reclaim all of my time, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, please, sure.
What have you?
No, yes, you does that quarterly remuneration comes along with other amenities such as assigned vehicles or other allowances or benefits?
No, sir, except for a vehicle assigned to the chairman of the board, there are no other benefits or allowances outside of the board quarterly fees.
You are the political leader of a political party, is that true?
Correct.
Are you still the political leader of your political party?
I'm the standard bearer of the political party.
How operational is your party?
But this is not a political season, and so the party, like any other party, is dormant. But basic skeleton.
So you are breaking the rules of NEC, you are dormant.
When I say dormant, I mean we're not engaged in formal political activities, but the party does exist.
Okay. I want you to talk to me briefly about you going away in one of the farthest away countries in the Pacific and running your political party here. Elections is 2029. People who want to run in that election will begin to prepare now. Political parties will start vetting candidates for legislative politics. How will you reconcile you running your political party and the ambassador role? People in the gallery, please.
Well, this is a call to duty, and my own philosophy about public service is when you are called, you should put yourself in a position to serve your country. This is about serving my country, and at some point we have to make the sacrifices. You may not gain everything you want, but I think it's fair enough on the calculation that there may be others who will fill the role. That's why the party we run is not centered around an individual, it's centered around an institution.
So you are going to sacrifice a political party for national interest.
Well, I won't use that language, but I will make it.
You talk about sacrifice.
I know, but I'm not sacrificing a political party. It's making the sacrifice as a citizen.
Are you going to run in 2029 for president?
I have not thought about that.
Will the party put up Kennedy in 2029?
That remains to be seen.
Let's talk about the Liberia investment promotion. You wrote it in your CV, and let me just get excerpt from it. That you help provide leadership direction for organizations, work remotely at a given time, promoted Liberia investment products through the sales of investment data and potential investor, attracted investment to Liberia through sales of investment data and potential investor. When and how did that take place?
Well, it was an LLC company founded in the United States by myself and a group of Liberians. It was time when Liberia needed to showcase its investment sectors, and so many investors did not have the kind of opportunity to have the one-stop shop that they had in Ghana, for example, on their website. And so we were able to form a company that was responsible to gather more information about investment opportunities and in the different sectors, and we put that into documentary format, and we're able to get that information out there to those who wanted it, and that helped any potential investor who wanted to know about Liberia and the investment sector.
In no particular order, can you name me 3 success stories from that, please?
We were successfully able to provide information to would-be investors They were pleased with the information we provided.
We did provide. I'm talking about success story in that. If you don't have any, or maybe you can just let me know.
Well, that was the benchmark. The benchmark was we were able to provide that information. We were contacted.
Whatever happened afterwards, you didn't get.
Well, we didn't follow as part of our own portfolio, but we're happy we were able to provide that information.
Now, let me ask you a direct question concerning your role, if confirmed. You are going to Japan, and Japan is a very big player in the Pacific politics, with Southeast Asia, China, Australia on the other end, with New Zealand, and America also is part of that Pacific alliance, with all of the different political interests, economic interests, and that of the Pacific Sea itself. Have you taken some time to understand the continental, intra-continental politics within the Pacific, and what do you think Liberia will do to not step on toes within that realms?
Yes, and this is work in progress. I don't profess to be an expert, but it's been highlighted in my presentation about the bilateral relations between the government of Liberia and Japan. And to date, we do not have any conflict or any documentary conflict as far as I know. But we will be able to manage these relationships by ensuring that we are duly informed and we can fully understand the scope of work described by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Do you speak any other language other than English?
Well, I speak a little bit of French. At a moderate level.
Okay, thank you. Before I yield, Mr. Chairman, I would just like to acknowledge here that many times nominees come here and talk about how they will promote Liberia's image out there. They will look for investment opportunities, bilateral enrichment in the areas of technology and science. And once you get a job, you got your limo with your chauffeur, that's the end of it. That's the end of it. And we would like to say that you spoke everything here, everything you spoke here, you spoken about here was on an oath. If you promise to do these things, and if confirmed that this committee, many of us who are members, we are on the chairman back every day. You can ask the Minister of Foreign Affairs, she's here many times. This is a hands-on committee. So if any of you guys looking to be confirmed, just note these speeches that you made here, you'll be held responsible for the content thereof in the future. I yield back, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Nyantoye. We will now go to Senator Avo T. the Protest Emeritus of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Honorable Alisla, I listened to you when you talk about the candidate that happened to your parents when you were in a special mention of that. As Liberia brings closure to that era, will you suggest retributive or restorative justice in our transitional justice?
So will I suggest retributive or restorative? Well, from my background, retributive and restorative justice from my background, they are very similar. One is an eye for an eye, the other one have different forms in terms of transitional justice. I used to be a very big advocate. No, I'm giving you detail. I know you say they are not the same, but the outcome are the same. The outcome are the same because
How can I justice?
Okay, retributive justice is an eye for an eye. You do the crime, you do the time. Restorative justice is a community approach in terms of trauma healing. Bringing people together, talk about a dispute. When there's accountability, then you can perhaps take it to retributive justice. That's why I say they are similar. Okay, because there are certain crimes in restorative justice would take accountability for that. All right. So I support the both, depending on the severity of the crime. So I do support both on that.
The next question goes to both.
So I put on them because like you will be based in Japan, you in Senegal, with multiple accreditation. This is offering fair like one place. Sometimes financial constraints in the embassy. How do you hope to handle those multiple accreditations so that you can fully represent our country?
I think that question, I think what this committee is doing, I think it's the beginning of new idea and innovative ways, especially in terms of the foreign relations of our country. What I would suggest maybe or recommendation to this committee during the budgetary situation, multiple accreditation missions in terms of operations of residence mission to increase the operations of those residence missions so the ambassador can have the opportunity to have representations in the very accredited accreditations or jurisdictions missions. For instance, if I go to Dakar, Senegal, and there are some issues of migrations of Liberians in Cape Verde, which of course is one of the big challenges for Liberians in Cape Verde, Mauritania, and the Gambia, because the mission sit in Dakar. So I think this committee of foreign affairs and the ministry need to work together to see how we can increase the budget of the ministry in terms of movement of the ambassador. The ambassador one cannot go. I think you understand that the ambassador will have to go with another staff in terms of reporting, in terms of engagement, because the ambassador one cannot do it. So I think the committee here, the work you are doing right now is highlighting some of the challenges. And when you continue to do this, they can only make the Ministry of Foreign Affairs better. And it also will force the ambassadors to properly represent Liberian interests in the accredited or the multiple accreditations missions. So I think for me, it starts from this committee and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in budgetary support for operational costs for the various residence mission, so at least the ambassador can have the opportunity to represent. So thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. I think I'll have to agree with my colleague, as I provided in my statement, that there is a dire need for considerations from this august body of budgetary allocations, which may yield dividends. For example, Japan, you have Singapore. We could open up new frontier with Singapore. The president has started to engage in Indonesia. We could open up new frontiers with Malaysia and other countries. That in itself may yield dividends and may yield other investment opportunities that in the short or long run may even enhance the national budget. So I think such considerations in terms of providing the missions with the requisite finances and support will also encourage us to get out there and scout and bring more investment, trade opportunities, which may impact our bottom line positively.
Senator, please let me pick up. Every time people come here, what are seated ministers nominate? Most times, they say they want, they wish and look for more budgetary support. Have you done an assessment of the mission to which you are going to know whether there's inadequacy of funding or how much budget support you would need and why? Because everybody asks for budget support, but the program are not saying why you want the money. It's a difficult thing for all of you.
That is correct, Honorable Chairman. Yes, we've been able to see the budget. I was able to review the budget of the mission, and it supports, the staff, but there's a need for more. You cannot effectively carry out the work if, for example, the mission doesn't have, adequate funds to repair vehicles or logistics. So I will be doing additional comprehensive review, and also speaking with if confirmed, I will be conducting comprehensive review to see some of the other challenges and opportunities which are there, and things that we can do on our own outside of budgetary allocation. But you are absolutely correct. It sounds absurd, but we will personally, for the mission in Japan, if confirmed, we'll be doing a lot to see what we can salvage and how best we can act, as far as we can act outside of any budgetary allocation.
Thank you.
Yeah, so, Mr. Appleton, Mr. Johnson, I saw your CV that you are a graduate of University. Regionally, that university is ranked 164 of 165. So it's way down, almost like that.
What university?
University, DUVR.
Divra? I know university produce president.
You went with the drive?
Yeah.
So I want to know where you did off campus or you did online.
Well, to answer the question, Honorable Distinguished Senator, I did go on campus. I spent a lot of time on campus. There were a couple of courses that I did online, but I did spend a lot of time on campus.
Johnson.
Thank you, Honorable Senator. When I attended that university, DeVry University.
You too?
Actually, I graduated from Keller Graduate School of Management. It's a part of DeVry University. That university was fully accredited by the government of the United States. I went 100% in class. I didn't do an online program in 2003. But I think the fundamental thing here is not the university. It's the foundation that I received from here, from demonstration.
No, I didn't ask for that. Okay, so in your statement, Johnson,
Yes, sir.
Liberia recognizes the sovereignty of Morocco over all its lands. You say that. So does Morocco recognize the sovereignty over Western Sahara?
Honorable Senator, in my statement, yes, I did say that. And that's a foreign policy statement that is not generated from me. We speak as ambassadors, we speak as representatives of the government. And on all issues, we agree with Morocco at this time, sir.
Ask specifically. So that we recognize the sovereignty of Morocco over Western Sahara.
Honorable Senator, Liberia agrees with and partners with Morocco over its issues. Yes.
So that means
It's yes. It's yes.
I have an issue with you on the lookout while they were sending us snow to deal with that. What was that? On the ongoing conflict between Israel and the Arab world, you'll be in Qatar. You will see horrifying images every day on television. And I'm sure there's a need to resolve those conflicts, that discussion. What will be the advice, your advice to the foreign minister or the president if Liberia has to make an input?
Yeah, thank you, Senator. I think my advice would be the same thing I did in 2017. When the blockade happened, the diplomatic rifts between Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Oman, and United Arab Emirates and Egypt, when they put a land, air, and sea blockade on Qatar. At the time, Minister Majum Kamara was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and the Deputy Foreign Minister was Honorable Elia Shayne. And my advice is that to follow our foreign policy, non-alliance. And we wrote a note to the minister and advising that Kuwait is taking a mediation role about the conflict, and that we should support Kuwait in the mediation role.
We got Mike.
At the time, Kuwait, the state of Kuwait, was playing the mediation role by His Highness Sheikh Ahmed Sabah, that my advice to the government of Liberia at the time, as head of mission, for us to support Kuwait. And the good thing at the time, Madam Salih, Her Excellency, former President Madam Salih, wrote a letter in support of the mediation of Qatar. And that was a very good thing. I think similar thing can happen for Liberia based on our own foreign policy to play non-alliance role, because our foreign policy is based on liberalism. And we continue that path. I think that's the foundations of who we are as Liberians. So my advice to His Excellency President Waika on that issue, I think it will be more democratic liberalism, that we should support any mediation to bring peace to the region, two-state solution.
Did you say an element of Liberian foreign policy is non-aligned?
Is that an element?
It's a non-alliance.
Yes, I think that's
So that's part of foreign policy is
that's
non-aligned.
Liberian foreign policy.
So we means
we don't take conflict with anybody. We support peace in the world, and I think that is the foundation who we stand on. Even if you look at the rest agenda stands on that policy as well, economic growth, stability, and peace. And I think we need to make sure, because we are the bastion of hope. Remember back in the 60s, in the liberation days, many liberators used to come to Liberia for support on that, and I think we should continue that, because Liberia is the first independent African nation. I think when you become that kind of big brother, the role that you play is the role of a mediator. So I think this is why our foreign policy is up, and I think we should continue that.
so that means that at the United Nations, when America is voting this way, We don't have to put that necessarily.
Well, we have to look at the agenda. We have to look at the agenda and the competing priorities in terms of economic growth of our country. When you look at the arrest agenda, you talk about economic stability. And that stability is not for other people, it's for we, the Liberians, in terms of our own economic stability. So whatever vote that we take must be in the interest of the Liberian people. And I think that's why our whole foreign policy is shifted towards non-alliance, but also we have to do an introspect analysis of every time we take a decision. What benefit does that decision bring to the Republic? And I think this is where we as Liberians must continue to tread that path to make sure that whatever vote, whatever position must be in the interest of Liberia, not to rival the structures of our democracy, but to strengthen our own democracy in such a way that the Liberian people can see that we are benefiting from this decision and X, Y, and Z.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Senator Chair. We take Senator Daba Babla of Grand Kipman County, followed by Senator Joseph Dalla, then Senator Edmund Snow, then the Vice Chair of the committee, Senator Sir Joseph, and then if time permits, I will conclude. If no time permits, we will reschedule.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, let me congratulate the nominees for your preferment by the President. I will start with Honorable Johnson. You will be going to Morocco, I understand, if you are confirmed. Which religion are you?
I'm a Christian.
You're a Christian, and Morocco is an Islam country, are you aware?
I'm fully aware.
What's your opinion on religious tolerance?
I'm very tolerant with different religions. I think each of us believe and serve who we want to serve. I cannot question you on your God you serve because He gives you all your benefits and answers. My God that I serve gives me all my benefits and answers, and I don't wish you to challenge me on my religious beliefs. So I'm very tolerant to the extent that we all serve a God. Somebody is responsible for something, for everything that is happening today, whether you believe it or not. So I will be very tolerant. I am very tolerant to other religions.
You are going to be representing Liberia in that Muslim country. And I recall several years back, during the era, Liberia benefited through bilateral negotiation on behalf of our Muslim population. So in a way, subsidize their annual pilgrimage, which is one of the 5 pillars of Muslim. How will your assignment impact the return of that opportunity to the huge Muslim population of Liberia?
Well, Madam Senator, thank you for that question. I think this is something that Morocco, as a country, as a kingdom, is very open to helping other African nations in their life. And I think with my experience and my background in negotiation and my training, I know we can talk to people to get those, to have the favor returned to us, to our Muslim community, in terms of meeting the quota for the annual pilgrimage.
All right, you say you have not been on any diplomatic mission, is that correct?
That's 100% correct, ma'am.
Did you attend the Foreign Service Institute?
I've read the Foreign Service Manual in preparation for myself.
Did you attend the Foreign Service Institute? That's a question.
No, I did not attend the Foreign Service
She
Institute.
didn't ask whether you read it. She asked if you attended.
No, I did not.
Okay, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph. Honorable Sila, you have been on mission in Qatar since 2015. And Qatar is one of the wealthiest countries. In your presentation, I heard that if you are confirmed to go to Senegal, one of your focus areas will be trade, developing a trade relationship. I also heard you say you brought one time 11 potential investors. That did not give much result, according to you. What advice are you going to give your successors or this government through the Senate in order to access investment from that rich nation that Liberia has a relationship with? What would be your advice?
Well, thank you. The 11 investors we brought in, I think it held into some good things. Qatar Airways was one of them in terms of rectifying the air service agreement. Land ministries and agencies are benefiting from that assessment visit, including the Ministry of Health, including the Ministry of Education, including bilateral meeting organized between state actors here and then back in Doha. I think it healed into something very good. The foundation, I think if the new ambassador is confirmed to go to Senegal, or to go to Doha instead of Qatar, I think the foundation that we are laid out there, they want to make his job easier. There's no agency or ministry or private sector in the last 9 years that we've been engaged. We engaged Doha until pretty much we were becoming localized because everybody knew us. People could talk about us in other places, in other quarters. Our phone numbers are available in every area. I think the new ambassador, if he's confirmed, I think it would be a great opportunity just to sit on that particular map and plant the new map. The only thing I can say is that he just needs to continue engaging, because about a month ago, Qatar Investment Authority have a profile, envelope of $335 billion came to Liberia to do an assessment on natural resources. So that's another opportunity for him to keep knocking the doors. We have engaged most of the agencies in Doha. So all he needs to do is just go back and read files and then start to implement from the file.
Thank you. Honorable Operator, if confirmed, you'll be going to Japan. This is a country that, I think, only second to the U.S. Peace Corps. I feel a huge number of Japanese teachers when I was going to school. Today, the education sector is challenged. The other day, we had the Honorable Minister of Education, and she submitted a report of her assessment visit across this country. The quality of teachers that are teaching our children is concerning. What effort are you going to make for us to return to that pre-war time that we had the support coming in terms of teachers coming to teach our children?
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Japan has already done a lot in terms of its programs and help for Liberia. And I think that shows the deepening of our relationship in recent times. 2024, Japan signed, the government of Liberia signed an agreement with the Japanese government to complete the second portion of the freeway from the Johnson-Tucker Bridge to Freeport. But in terms of technical cooperation, we'll continue to work with Japan through its JACA program that is used to support such things as education, cultural exchange, climate change. We will continue to work with them in reference to that program to see how we can increase technical assistance in terms of education.
Charger connected.
And in my presentation, I provided that they have also in the past provided opportunity for at least 100 Liberians to be trained in Japan. We will work with the Japanese government to increase the number of scholarships particularly in STEM programs, so as to build capacity and improve our educational system. I also, as my own personal plan, have thought about working with the Japanese to enhance our teacher training programs. Most times, here at home, there's a dire need for quality teachers. And so, not only for providing scholarships to train Liberians, but to also assist on the level of teacher training. So that is some aspects of the plan that I plan to implement.
Thank you. You came third in the recent presidential election, which means you are just 2 points away from becoming president of this republic. 2 points? Right? 2 points. 2 steps away from becoming president. Am I right?
That is correct.
Now, if confirmed, you will be ambassador. What would be your reporting line?
Well, I will report to the president, for the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and then I report to the president. I mean, answer specifically, I will report to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and then I report to the president.
What is the rank? Because you say you report to the president. President voice before the minister, or how?
The embassies will fall under the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Who will you report to directly?
I will report to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Thank you.
Madam, let me follow up. What's the role of the Inspector General? Question.
The Inspector General in Foreign Service?
Yes.
Well, the role of the Inspector General is to basically coordinate activities among the Foreign Service.
Basically? In line of reporting, what role does the Inspector General play?
Well, in line of reporting, the Inspector General will ensure that sufficient information is collected and reported to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Anyway, I don't want to make this like
Follow up. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, yeah. I just want to make sure. What's the role of the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs when it comes to reporting?
The Deputy Minister
No.
of... Oh.
No, I was not asking.
Oh.
The Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs reports to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
No, you're reporting. What does it fall?
Well, in my line of reporting that, I should report directly to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but I should also report to the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs. But as an ambassador, I report directly to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
This is so, all three of you, are you aware of the pay rate for each of these positions that you are about to assume, if confirmed?
Yes, I've seen the budget.
And how much for your, is it a uniform for ambassador?
I don't know, but I think it's just about 6,000 and change.
We didn't hear that.
I don't know if it's uniform, but I think it's about 6,000.
Don't think. If you know, say.
It's $6,000 and about $6,000
Per month?
per month.
Okay. So the reason I asked that question, because you are going to be going to another country. Some of these countries are more expensive than the other. It's $6,000 a month. Is that the gross?
Yes.
Do they apply tax to your salaries as well?
We should apply taxes.
Which means you're going to get a little over 4,000 and change.
Right.
Is that an amount that can sustain you in Japan and make you to do the work that Liberia needs you to do?
Well, that is on the table now, and that's why we are consulting and obtaining more information.
But you said you saw the budget. Is there any further negotiation outside of the budget?
Well, that is something that remains to be seen.
And you, Honorable Sila, you've been there before. What's your advice on this matter?
Well, what is on the budget is what we're getting paid. And as I said earlier, service is the highest form of honor to the state. We as a diplomat, just like in the military, we don't complain. We just do our job. And whatever is on the budget of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, what you allotted, because I like to come back to you. That salary came back to you, and you approved it. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is the one that implementing it. So if you found it deemed it necessary to increase our salary, I think, Honorable Chairman, the next budget year, I think with all the constraints that we're talking about and your understanding, Honorable Snow understanding, because he's in the region, he visits most of the embassies, he knows the challenges. I think.
Mr. Sila.
You didn't present challenges when you're presenting.
Mr. Sila.
Yes.
I will take it that you did not meet the president before, after your nomination, immediately before after your nomination. I will take it that you met with the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs is my direct boss, and I keep working with her because I'm in the mission.
So, in line with her question, did the minister tell you, or are you aware of what the salary, monthly salary, will be for the ambassador in Dhaka?
I'm aware.
How much is that?
Just about 6,000.
No, I don't want about. One lawmaker said we're making around close to you can say about the exact amount.
6,000.
6,000. So our question is it adequate in your view?
Well, I said it that it's good because we're providing service.
But okay, we'll proceed from there.
But can I just say small thing? I want to make small case so you can be fighting for us.
But when you are presenting it's not a case. Okay, so Honorable Appetons, back to the issue of the board fee. You said you received quarterly board fee and no other. Is that true?
That is correct.
Do you have call meetings, and if so, are there setting fees?
Yes, we do.
Thank you. Lastly, to the three of you, recently we've been receiving Liberia has been faced with this embarrassing story at two of our major missions, one in West Africa and the other one in the US, which borders on sexual harassment and even rape. The three of you, if confirmed, you'll be going as the highest staff at each of your mission. What assurances you will give us as a country first and Liberian women that the women under your authority will have a space, safe space to work without fear of harassment and whatever gender-based violence?
Thank you very much, Honorable Senator. I can assure you that if confirmed, there will be no issues of discrimination or sexual harassment or sexual violence within the workplace. I will ensure that we have a strong corporate governance and code of conduct that everyone within the mission will adhere to. And we also have a zero tolerance policy for any acts of discrimination, violence against women, or sexual harassment.
Well, I think that's a very good question, Madam Honorable Senator. That's a very good question. You know, every job has ethics. Every job has laws that govern that institution. I think this is one of the laws that is a zero tolerance in the workplace. From my background, I'm a Hebrew sheep. I was in advocacy before I went into service. The gender parity bill that both houses passed in, I think it was the 53rd or the 54th. I was one of the voices behind that. And that gender parity talked about women empowerment, affirmative actions for women's rights. We were the voices behind that. So women's rights is our personal issue. We take that to the highest form of our advocacy. So that's why I say it's a very good question. For me, that's a zero tolerance. And I believe in women empowerment. And I support women on many issues. I think that's it.
Thank you, Madam Senator. I also believe 100% that sexual-based violence and sexual harassment in the workplace is of no tolerance at all. I think the rights of women should be equally respected. I have worked in institutions that have championed the rights of women and protected women who were sexually abused. If you went back to my record in Kokopa, you will hear my story. I have zero tolerance for people who abuse women, either verbally or sexually on the job. I also respect women who bring their expertise to the table, and I look at them as no other way but equals and professional people. So again, I would champion the avoidance, or I would make sure that that does not happen under my watch. Never, ever. This is my promise.
Thank you. Jermaine.
Senator Dalla, then Senator Snow, then Senator Joseph.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you so much. Yes, Pastor. So I will just start with, I will just go down quickly. Starting with the young person there, I think, Mr. Silla. Welcome to, I want to congratulate President Barkai for his preferment of you three in such a high standing. So, for Senegal, it's a beautiful place. It's a cool and beautiful place from my own memory. Historically, politically, and everything in Senegal is different. I do not know if there's anything you can do about the positive role Senegal played in our peace process, because they were not only the best dressed, but the guys who resisted anything wrong, including where I come from, low for environment, they defended lives everywhere, every time. So, and people have already forgotten these things. They feel that was their duty to come on peacekeeping. So, I don't know whether there's anything we can think about for the government to reflect on for a country like Senegal. Because every time I pass through that country, I feel guilty. So that's my first take.
Yeah, Senator, I agree. I think we can do something. It's just about reimaging and eliciting the government of Senegal role that they played during our challenging time. Is to be able to meet with state actors and government officials in Senegal and congratulate them for the role they play in Liberia, because that also can open a door. I think that's a good talking point. Meeting with the Minister of Defense, maybe from Senegal, talk about the role that they play in Liberia and their contribution to bring peace in Liberia. I think that's a very good entry point for the relationship, to foster and strengthen the relationship between our two countries. Because these things have diplomatic reciprocity. What we do for them and what they do for us must always be highlighted and talk about in an open form, and to make sure that they also reflect that I know some of them who came to Liberia now, they're probably some of the major state actors in Dakar. So I think for us, and I think that's a good question. It's a good entry point for our engagement with our counterpart in Senegal. I think that's, for me, I just want to commend you for that question. Thank you.
Okay, you have quite a few countries in your domain, other domain in your part, in your column. Cabo Verde is one of them. It's a very small, tight country. Portuguese influence is so vast that it's more developmental. The last time I was there, maybe over 10 years, if I'm not mistaken, some of the things I bought there, like honor clothes, I still have them. I just want to be so simple. I just want to be so simple. I bought enough quantity because I don't put it all things. I get one more now. I bought, because you don't have a place to go every time. But when you're there, you do the best you can. So the issue is, as developmental as those countries are, will you bundle yourself in Senegal, or you will try to spread out so as to see the talents that could be harvested from those areas beyond Senegal alone?
Yes, I think even if you look at the arrested, Jam that talk about tourism, Cape Verde is famous for tourism. I think we can learn from what they have done in terms of tourism. So for us is to be able to either do an exchange of training, technical, we can set up like a technical committee where the two country actors can meet about tourism, and we can learn from them. Perhaps they also too can learn from us, because we also have some things in our tourism in terms of the national tourism policy that we have. I think that's very comprehensive. I've read that. I remember when a few years back, there was a tourism conference in Doha, and I was able to get the Minister of Information, Culture and Tourism into that conference. So I read the national tourism policy of our country. So we can learn from Cape Verde through tourism. And I think the other country, also even in the Gambia, we can learn from the Gambia through tourism. In Mauritania, we can also see how we can learn the Ministry of Lands, Mine and Energy in terms of crude oil, because they are exporting now in Mauritania. So there are greater opportunity for most of the jurisdictions that Senegal has. So we just need to tap into those areas where we can learn our policies from them.
Let me use more. Little bit of rapid time and come back, because I see my project from the Bible. Let me give you some more chance.
Senator, no para nominee the same way
Mr. Mr. Nominee.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Distinguished Nominee.
Yeah.
You have quite a few countries in your domain, like my other interviewee, our interviewing. Now, you jump over all of them with no interest in talking about any of them. Whether they have made contribution to Liberia, or whether you're going to harvest or finished product from them. My interest in particular among the countries in your domain is Malaysia. There are a lot of unfinished work in Malaysia, including health development, including the development of the certain corporations that are unconcluded or that left inconclusive from recent years. They have intention to have development with the certain corporation of Liberia. They have our MOU on sign for the health sector that can be utilized. I would appreciate, Mr. Nominee, if you can take some time to read on Malaysia and Liberia before the result, if any, of your confirmation.
Thank you very much, Senator.
Yeah. The other thing I want to say, which might be a soft query, is that you keep tired in the election and you're accepting ambassadorial job. May I ask you, do you intend to run in the future for president?
Disregard our question. It is your political right to want to run or not. Disregard our question.
It's a foundation for your question.
Disregard the question.
I was just asking another question. Is it not a tax abandonment? Is it not a tax abandonment of your people?
Disregard our question. He's a lawyer, he know in the court, even if you rephrase it and the judge understands that the same thing you're looking for, you will disregard it. Disregard our question. It has no role to do with your nomination as ambassador.
All right, so enough here.
You ask that question? Yeah. Disregard it. Yeah.
All right, well, I will leave you temporarily. I will go through the back door. Maybe I'll go through the foreign ministry to ask my question.
Yeah, thank you.
But the minute I know I got one, I got it around.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Johnson, may I ask you please, are you a Liberian?
Yes, I am a Liberian.
From what part? Where?
County of origin.
Where part of Liberia are you from?
Well, my mother is from Grenji and my father is from Lupa County.
So where are you from? Where?
Well, no. I spent a lot of my childhood in Grenji County. I grew up in Grenji County. Where we say in Liberia that you claim onto your father's lineage, if that's the question, then I'm from Lupa County. Thank you, Mr. Senator.
Are you the former Minister of Defense?
I'm the former Deputy Minister of Defense, Private Sector.
Have you ever been investigated or charged?
I have been investigated, charged, and convicted by our courts. We filed an appeal on the case. It went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court held the ruling of the lower court. The President, in his wisdom, the government and prosecutor also reason to issue us a pardon. And I think with that pardon, we restore all our rights and privileges as Liberians.
So, that's very good. The pardon is good. But how does that, cure from the minds of ordinary people who were affected by your action, of which they will be happy to see you going to represent it in the foreign service?
That's a good question, Mr. Senator. The people who were allegedly affected by our actions are people who were not affected by our actions. What we did, my service at the Ministry of Defense, for example, I'm proud of my service at the Ministry of Defense. At that point, it was my highest role in public service. We did a lot for our army, we did a lot for the country. What we did on instructions, and we executed those instructions.
Mr. Nominee, the court record does not suggest so. The court record does not suggest so. The simple answer would have been, yes, you have been convicted, but you benefit from presidential pardon.
I did that, Mr.
Yeah, but to go,
I was responding to a follow-up
to say you acted on instruction. The court record does not suggest so.
Okay, I agree with you.
Let's proceed. Go ahead.
Then you give me a chance to find another question.
Or if you are not
I was not done. Okay, you said that, the question I asked, please repeat your answer. I'm sorry, sir. My question was, how does the ordinary man benefit from the fact, and then you will be representing, what was your answer to that question? Because I'll be walking the street, they'll be asking me, don't vote for me.
And that was the question I was trying to answer when the senator said I shouldn't. That was not the question.
No. I said your response in defense of yourself should not conflict what the court record said for which you were convicted.
I agree with you.
And I hold that ground because
No,
I read the ruling of that case.
I agree with
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
Again, Mr. Senator, what was that question? Please.
You got no message. You got pardon. It's good. But is that sufficient for the confidence to go and represent the same people that you have to say differently? To be in another color representing it, you think it works that way? Is that the intent of the pardon?
The intent of the pardon, Honorable Senator, and you are a lawyer, it cleans the slate. It creates a new path for a Liberian to travel on. And I think as a Liberian with my service to government, and like I always said, the previous government saw reason to pardon us, and we're happy for that. I don't think it should bar me from serving my country any further.
Now, I'm just looking at the time in between when it's not too fresh for people to get annoyed with the government for all that happened, the amount of people that were affected, and their soldiers. That's the reason why the question is, it seems to be relevant for me because of the time level, and these were soldiers. They're not ordinary people in the street that were working with bare bottom and jeans. These are people who have guns or who had guns and moving in the streets. It's a concern for me.
And I understand your concern, Honorable Senator, but there are also people in the military whose lives we save based on our actions. And those are people who are still in our military today, who see us in the street and appreciate us for our actions. A few people were affected, so much so, at least no lives were lost, but our actions saved a lot of lives. And I think, Honorable Senator, those are the laurels I want to ride on. And when I walk in the street today, I walk with my head up high, that I served my country, and I did my family well.
I think that the last part, you say you walk with your head high.
I walk with my head high in the street, that I served my country, and I did service to my family.
So apart from the parliament, you walk with your head high.
I don't understand what you mean apart.
Aside from the pardon I was giving you, you are walking with your head high. That's what I'm asking.
Well, I'm walking with my head high, Honorable Senator, because of the work I did. And if you allow me, I can go into a little bit into our work that we did that made me proud.
Can you do 30-second summary?
30-second summary is fair enough. Our work at the Ministry of Defense saw this country to put up peacekeeping troops in an African country that assisted us for the first time since 1971. And we are proud of those men. In going to peacekeeping missions, there are other operations that happen that have to prepare the men for peacekeeping. And we did those things that today our country can stand proud and say we did serve in peacekeeping. We were not the ones who were receiving, we were giving in these instances. We saw our country go through this lifting of the army embargo on our country since the war. Liberia had a serious army embargo on the country. Through our work with the AU and the UN and ECOWAS, the arms embargo was lifted that allowed us to go for peacekeeping, that gave us a face on the planet.
Mr. Nominee.
Yes, sir.
Were you prosecuted for any of these?
Any of these what?
All the things you just.
Army embargo.
All these
No.
things you just.
He said in 30 seconds, actually tell me what I'm proud of. That's what
what you're proud of.
Yes.
No, he said he did all against the army. No, my contention here is lifting army embargo was that part of the achievement in the army? Because independent of you, I know what the army embargo was lifted. I work at Justice Ministry. I'm a lawyer. I know why the army embargo was lifted. Not because of any good work of any Liberian citizen or soldier. There were conditions for which it was imposed. And when the conditions are met, they had to be lifted, including the embargo on forestry.
I agree. I agree with you, Honorable Senator. But to have the requisite personnel to make that agreement happen, I think maybe I was in the right place at the right time to serve my country.
All right, let me leave it there. We'll discuss it differently.
Thank you, Senator. We'll now take Senator Edmondson, followed by the Vice Chair of the committee, Senator Joseph.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Nominees, good afternoon. I don't know, I should start left, right, left, or left, right. I should start right. Well, let me just piggyback on the last set of questions asked you by Senator Jala. You were convicted. Am I right?
Yes, Senator.
Do you have any court documents or anything to show your clemency? To show this committee that you're granted clemency?
I can provide that to you later, Senator, but I know it was announced during almost about a year ago.
No, not only announcement, document.
No, I don't have the court document on me, Senator.
You will have to produce that for my court.
I will produce that for you.
Thank you. You say you can walk proudly. That's part of your conviction and everything. Why did you challenge maybe you should have said, well, I can walk proudly, I didn't do anything wrong, so I don't need a pardon. I would say the court was wrong.
Honorable Senator, you know our jurisprudence when we go through the lower court. Our chance was to appeal to the upper court. We did appeal to the upper court. I don't want us to re-adjudicate that case here. I can do that in private for you all. But there were issues that were raised that were not addressed. So the verdict was handed down for the second time. We accepted the verdict because of the strength of the court, and we lived at the verdict. But at that point, it was not my position to argue with the Supreme Court because it was the final arbiter.
Besides English, do you speak any other language?
No, I don't.
In Morocco, there's French, there's English, there's French, Arabic, English.
I read French and speak it a little.
To preference, sir?
What do you want to
Thank God the ambassador Designate of France is over there. So okay. You've never been an ambassador before. You go into the foreign service. You venture attending the foreign service institute and it's your pressure.
It's my understanding, Honorable Senator, that there's going to be a refresher course or a crash course for freshman ambassadors like myself, so that before we go and sit down, we'll understand what we're going to do. In addition to that, like I said, I've been reading the manual, the foreign service manual.
So my vote for you will be predicated upon bringing that certificate when you're done with the crash course. So when you bring that crash course, then we know you're ready for the foreign service. So, you are going to serve Liberia, and one of my colleagues asked about the situation we face in Morocco with our students, especially the young people. They are in Morocco, representation over the years, since the former ambassador passed. We've now had a very high profile representation in Morocco. Most Liberians traveling between the United States and Liberia via Morocco are treated very horribly during transit period in Morocco. Is there anything you think you can do to change that situation? Because when Liberians go there, our brothers and sisters, since our law provides for dual citizenship, some of our brothers and sisters who are privileged to have another citizenship, they're allowed to leave the airport, find a hotel, relax. For those long transit hours, Liberians that don't have similar privilege with Liberian passport, they have to stay in the airport, sleep on the floor, treated all sort of ways at the airport. Is there anything you think you can do about it?
Definitely, Senator. First, let me go back to the scholarship issue. Like you rightly articulated, our scholarship issue was, I think, we dropped the ball on it after the passing of our ambassador. So we need to look at that whole scholarship thing and put it back in shape. I think there's good that can come out of it. We find the brightest students of our country and send them and give them some, quality education so that they come back. I have been privileged to see 2 young Liberians who I didn't know at the time, who had gone to Morocco, and today they are medical doctors in Liberia. On the issue of Liberians being treated at the airport, I think it's okay for us to look at it here because we worry about Liberians, but I think it's a general African or non-Western issue. And to answer the question directly, this is something I'm hoping that when I go, I will speak with my colleagues who are other Africans from West Africa and other countries to see what's the problem, how we can fix it. But looking at it from the country level, yeah, it is a problem. And when you go through that, it's not a good thing.
Your questions from other senators have not, your responses to all from other senators have not really impressed me. That you are prepared for the Foreign Service. If you had an option of going back to the Ministry of Defense, going to the Foreign Service, what do you think would?
I think my work at the Ministry of Defense, I think I've completed my work at the Ministry of Defense. And as a Liberian, I think the Foreign Service gives me an opportunity to serve better and serve on a bigger platform. So if your question is, do you want to go back to the Ministry of Defense? If that was an option, no, I wouldn't take that option. Not that I hate the institution, but like I said, I'm proud of my work and I can stand and face anything that I can accomplish my work. But I think the Foreign Service, I'm prepared for the Foreign Service. I've never been in the Foreign Service. My educational credential prepares me for that. My background in security, considering the security situation in the region, also prepares me for that. So I'm eager to accept the challenge and go and serve our center.
One of the things required of an ambassador is to knock and open doors. My distinguished colleague from Grenke might ask you about your faith. She's right, like you said. But Morocco is an Arab country. Most times we even help the Liberian government with Hajj, send our pilgrimage to Hajj, and all of that. And sometimes you have to relate to them, the culture, the religion, and everything. How, not just tolerant, but how versatile are you in relating to those cultures, those norms, and of course the religions?
So I'm very versatile in that. In my previous work, when I was at the Ministry of Defense, we had officers from ECOWAS who were assigned to the Ministry of Defense, Muslims. We work with them, we recognize their holidays, we share with them in their holidays. So I know how to work with people of other faith. I don't think your faith should preclude you from doing a particular job on a hotel job, especially if you are a professional. So we learn to live with people of other faith. I certainly would not have found them there on a hotel job.
If you went to the foreign ministry in Morocco and the protocol officer greet you, Salam alaikum, what would you respond?
It's my duty to learn how to greet him back in Arabic.
So you didn't know that one?
Walaikum salam.
Oh. Thank you. Mr. Adesina, ambassador or Shashi?
Shashi.
Shashi Sila. How are you?
Doing okay.
You're an active politician and a diplomat. We're fortunate to have campaigned together in 2023 for the same candidate, am I right?
Oh, say it.
So 2020 what?
23.
No, we're fortunate to campaign for the same candidate.
Yeah, Honorable Senator, we're fortunate to campaign along with each other in 2011. I serve as co-chair for mobilization equipment for the national launch of then the Unity Party of Madam Secretary. So we're fortunate to work together then.
Who did you campaign for in 2023?
In 2023, I was the national campaign manager for the All Liberia Coalition Party.
ACO. So in other words, you abandoned your post in You came to Liberia to campaign.
Well, thank you for that question. You know, our laws allow political participation based on the code of conduct, but you have to take administrative leave. And in 2023, I took administrative leave to carry on a national duty to campaign for Honorable Kamara.
Was the leave?
And the leave was granted.
Was the leave forever?
No, the leave was writing. It was a writing leave.
Writing?
Writing leave granted by the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Can we have copy? Can the committee?
I can share the copy.
Okay. Go ahead.
Mr. Sila, in 2014, you attempted to run for the Liberian Senate. Am I right?
That's correct.
It's believed that you traded that position with Rabbi Selim to go to Qatar with a foreign mission. Am I right?
That is incorrect, sir.
What happened?
I got sick and I withdrew.
And when you got well, you were appointed.
Well, I got well when I was appointed. I was a member of the Unity Party. In 2005, I became a member of the Unity Party. In 2011, in 2005, I came down and campaigned for Madame Selim. And she won the elections and I went back to school. 2011, I campaigned for Madame Selim.
2014, I'm asking.
Yeah, I'm just giving you a breakdown.
No,
I'm giving you a historical.
I want 2014.
I just want to give you an historical account of my involvement in then the Unity Party. Why?
Can you just take
and why I was given a job. I wasn't given a job because I withdrew from the elections. I was given a job because then I was a partisan of the Unity Party.
So in 2023, who do you vote for? Who do you campaign for?
In the first round,
yes,
I voted and campaigned for Honorable Nusuli F. Kamara.
In the second round?
In the second round, I voted and campaigned for Honorable Joseph Mwabwaka.
Are you sure of that?
Absolutely.
So this Senate have confirmed some nominees from the President. Saba George, 2012 from the Defense Ministry. People have been confirmed here and charged and accused of prosecuting people in official duties, and they were denied letter of appointment after they were confirmed. A lot of things have happened. What assurance can you give this Senate that if we confirm you and your name goes to the mansion, they will give you the letter?
Well, the good thing is...
Say they campaign for the party in the first round.
Oh, the good thing is Honorable Kamara is our leader of the party. He spearheads our party. He's engaging the president. Obviously, I don't think the president, in his wisdom, recommended me and nominated me for this position. And I think everything the president needs to do, because he nominated me and he has that confidence he reposed in me, I think I will be appointed. And I strongly believe in that.
Mr. Sila,
yes, sir.
So that we understand what's happening here. This committee allowed that line of questioning deliberately. On general principle, this Senate confirmed few nominees nominated by the President, and the names were submitted to the marshal. And for some reason, they could not get their appointment because primarily proof was shown that they supported former President Weah. This Senate can name Sabo George. This Senate can name one Augustine too. Both of them should have gone to Minister of Defense. This Senate is aware of the withdrawal of a professional lawyer, Mafia Group nomination. This Senate, through the committee I chair on information, confirmed Bobby Livingstone, and all of these nominations were concluded, and the appointments were stored at the margin for political affiliation. On general principle, those we just wanted to send a clear message that if we did it to Paul, we can do it to John. So on the day our court endorsed the rescue mission with Joseph Walker and Jeremiah Pound, I was there. I led the campaign for Monrovia. Where were you? Question.
I was there. Matter of fact, early that morning we went and set up the board.
You were there?
Absolutely, I was there. we went and set up the whole area.
Any video, picture can show I was leading the
There are a lot of pictures flying around.
No, forget if you're flying around once a year, we'll store yours. Or general principle. And we want to be very clear that when we win election, we should govern as a country and bring people together and not discriminate against people.
Honorable
So
Senator.
if other people felt it, then general principle must apply.
Honorable Senator.
Yeah. I led the campaign in Monrovia for the rescue mission. Mr. Lucini Camara sitting here, who is a political leader and stand-up bearer then, we were together on that stage. I was there with the candidate, my candidate, then Joseph Nima Braga, and the vice stand-up bearer, Jeremiah Kwanku. You and I did not see one another there, correct?
Look, Honorable Senator, that day.
So if you were there, they play a part.
Let me give you
No, 1 minute, so we can make progress.
Yeah. No, I want to make progress before your question. Right?
Yeah,
the document.
On what we get each other to talk.
Okay. All right.
Okay. All we're trying to say here, if you show proof that you were there, give all that proof. Forget about the explanation. Because you explain here, I didn't see you. I was there. I was on that stage. I lifted these people's hands.
But Honorable Senator.
So, Senator, slowly proceed.
No, I just wanted to add something.
Mr. Chairman.
Can I just,
so the line that Senator Dillon took,
yeah.
my chairman took, is the exact line that I'm thinking. Okay. When Kennedy boycott campaigned in Liberia, he told the Liberian people there will be no blue or green Liberia.
Yes.
There will be one Liberia.
Okay.
The president has proven the contrary. This Senate has confirmed people. Their names went to the mansion, and people followed their names. That the campaign for George Weah and the letter of appointment was denied. What made you different?
Well, I'm different. I'm different because I was a national campaign of a political party that made Unity Party won the election. I mean, that's clear indication of all of the variables. It was because of ACO in the second round that Unity Party won the elections, and I was the campaign manager. And I was the chairman also of Team Camara that mobilized this country for Honorable Camara. The third thing to that is that the document, the agreement that we signed to go to the Unity Party, I signed that document for us to go to the Unity Party.
Okay, so,
put my initial.
Yeah. That document plus proof that you were there, just submitted to the committee. This political aspect of your nomination and should not be in the way of your qualification for the job. This committee has decided on general principle that it will start denying people because they were wearing one particular party t-shirt, which should deny everybody else who did not wear one other particular party t-shirt. It was not on your basis of your qualification or not. And that has been the determination of this committee. So if you sign a document, you can show proof that you were there, send it to the committee will proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So you inform us that your appointment is based on your campaign and your position in the party, but not based on your qualification.
My appointment is based on my qualification. Matter of fact, this appointment of mine done well for service for officers in the field. To be able to promote someone who has served as minister counselor in a particular mission, to elevate them to ambassador, I think it's a very good thing. What it does is that it brings morale to most of the officers who are in the field, that there's room for opportunity for them to grow and be promoted as an ambassador. And that's just the qualification. The other aspect of it is that I know that we want to drift away from the political decisions, but what I want to say is that seeing me that day doesn't mean that I did not support Honorable Camara. This is a testament that Honorable Camara is here.
So you are responding to me, not saying that not to my chairman. I asked you a question. Okay.
Yeah, so my qualification is the premier foundations of my promotion. And I'm very proud of my qualification. That's why I read it out. I've served the Foreign Service for 9 years. and I will continue to do that. And I've done extraordinary things for Liberia. Branded Liberian image in Qatar, over 234 embassies around the world, and Liberia is recognized.
Show us some of the tangibles. What are some of the investments you brought to Liberia?
Well, I just talk about Ilama, Starlink, and now the
1 month ago, yeah, go ahead.
1 month ago, now the government have issued provisional license for Starlink to operate in Liberia.
Yeah.
This is the world richest man, and that's through my connection.
Wow.
In 9 years, you did one last month.
This is one of the biggest. You're talking about okay, Qatar Airways, the air service agreement. Hopefully, Qatar Airways will start coming. The Ministry of Youth and the Ministry of Education are benefited. Aspire Academy, the agreement of Aspire Academy are benefited. The Ministry of Health are benefited through our arrangement. So many different things that we have done for Liberia.
I think you're qualified to serve as ambassador for Liberia.
Am I qualified?
Yeah.
I think my resume speaks for itself. My experience speaks for itself. My service that I've done speaks for itself.
Yeah.
I'm qualified to be ambassador extraordinary and potential.
Mr. Abidjan, how are you, sir?
Very good.
You came third in the election. 2.2% of the vote. The foreign minister will be your boss in 18. 0.2% of the votes. Are you ready to report the vote?
Absolutely, Senator.
Are you ready to report the vote?
Yes, Senator.
Mr. Abidjan, on the oath, you just told this committee that you did not change any of the vote enumeration at local since you went there. Can you explain the resolution that changed that board meeting should be held every month and what's the amount was changed to? On our oath?
Yes, the Honorable Chairman did point out that an amount is not changed when it did not take effect. So in answering his question specifically, on the onset of our engagement, based on the magnitude of the work of the board in its wisdom felt that we had to engage and meet on a regular basis, and so the uptake of the board fees from the quarterly fees from 5,000 to 6,000 was commensurate with the magnitude of the work being done. And then also the sitting fees from 500 to 1,000 was also commensurate. Well, the board, in its wisdom, through a resolution, rescinded that. It did not take effect.
By itself? Knowing that there was no message from the mansion telling you to rescind it?
No, there was a letter from the mansion advising that there should be no increase in salaries, there should be no increase in fees, etc. There was a letter from the mansion.
So, Mr. Abidjan, they board a resolution to do some increase, proposed increase. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes.
Then the board rescinded its resolution.
The board has the capability of doing so.
I just want to be clear.
But the board decided that you have a monthly board meeting, an emergency board meeting, and you will get, every time you sit, you will get board fees.
No, there was nothing to my
Is
record.
that because you are honorable?
I'm always aware.
You have a board resolution that says you will have monthly board meeting, am I right?
Yes, we should have monthly.
Let me be clear. You do have a resolution that allows you to have monthly board meeting, am I right?
Well, I'll have to take a look at that, but if we do have, it's in line.
Senator, you are on oath.
And let me finish, Senator. It's in line with the act that the board should meet at least once a month.
Okay, so the
So
board
if
meeting,
we do have
Mr. Abeto?
If we do have a resolution,
You have to give a chance here.
Sir.
yeah.
You can tell. All you came first. I'm not going to get No, your chance.
Mr. Abeto?
Yes, Honorable. Mr. Chairman.
The board fee of 5,000 is quarterly. Correct?
That is correct.
You meeting monthly,
That is correct.
and every month you got certain fee as a board.
That is correct. Once the
When you
board
met,
meets-
when you took over NOCA, the routine was the board would sit quarterly and get 5,000.
No, what is in the corporate governance documents, the board will meet at least once a month.
It's in the document, you understand? Sir,
Yeah,
the standard you met there was that the board was meeting quarterly. And 5,000 per quarter, correct?
when the board met, whenever time it deemed necessary. The previous boards, they met whenever time that was deemed necessary.
So the senator want to be clear that since you became NOCA chair, board chair, you have not increased the sitting fee for board meetings.
That is correct.
Well, you increase the frequency. You attempted to increase it, but the second machine stopped you. By the letter. Even Taylor, in addition to that, you increase the frequency of your sitting.
Yeah.
To be able to compensate you for what you wanted. In your first month.
That was
Not the second month, in your first month.
Honorable Senator, that was never the intent.
But that's what happened.
Yeah, but because the board found itself, because of the status of the company, the board found itself meeting at regular intervals. And keep in mind, this is not our company.
In your resolution, you even have provision for emergency board meeting, and all in the month you can still have emergency board meeting and get additional proceeding fees.
Well, yeah, it is within the act that the board can call emergency board meeting if there's a matter that requires an emergency.
And you stated there that even in that period, you still stating that within that quarter, you will have X amount of emergency meeting. The point we're trying to make here is not your stewardship of the car. One thing is your financial prudence or your way of managing public funds. And I feel you did a poor job at the car. And if you did such a poor job, in my view, as chairman of that committee and records available to me, what will you do in Japan? I need no car will call you, you can't hear. Japan, you way over there when you buy ticket to come.
Honorable Senator, with all due respect, I think to the best of my knowledge and recollection, we did a phenomenal job because there was no financial miss or improprieties. In reference to board fees or sitting fees, I think if you were to do a ratio analysis of the board fees to other compensation, you see that is barely 2%.
Mr. Nominee, the fact that you passed a resolution that the mansion had to rescind, it tells you it was poor judgment. Am I right?
Well, the mansion did not specify in its writing that it was poor judgment. The mansion, the president's office, in his wisdom, wanted to have time to look into issues of allegations from someone. But the president did not point out that the board was wrong or the board was financially indisciplined.
Well, he just said, don't take more money.
No, the president's office stated that we need to review, there should be no increase in salaries. Mind you, it was not only board fees. There should be no increase in salaries and board fees. So the president was trying to look into the matter as was brought to his attention by someone, I don't know who, but that letter was very specific. It was not board fees alone. It was salaries and in the form of other form of compensation.
Were you executive board chair?
Yes, sir.
You run the day-to-day operations?
No, I'm not the day-to-day operations manager. The CEO is.
Okay. Well, you want to make sure you met every month, and in a quarter you should have emergency fee. And every quarter you get quarterly fee.
Senator, the way you characterize it is not what it is. We can provide you with board.
I
can provide you with board resolutions that we have. We do have the board administrator who keeps all of the records in terms of all of the board resolutions.
Mr. Abedon, in followers to the question, you know, so I'm the chair here, I'm presiding, so I can always meet up. Yeah. How many board meetings did you have, or have you had in 11 months or so since you took over? Question.
I think we have a meeting, a board meeting a month.
How many board meetings have you had?
I cannot provide you the exact number, but I think we've had a board meeting a month.
So can you provide us the proper, correct information?
Sure, I can get the board administrator to provide.
That will answer the question. Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Albertson.
Yes, Honorable Senator.
Do you recall that there was confusion between the board and the management of Local, and the then Committee on Lands, Mines, Energy, and Natural Resources invited you to a meeting? You recall that meeting? I was in the meeting.
Yes, Senator, I recall the meeting, but to my recollection, that meeting was not an official meeting. It was just a meeting with you, to familiarize.
I know the chair.
Yeah, with the chair as well.
Right.
Yeah.
The issue was there was confusion. You remember one of the board members accused you that when we cited you, you said you are only responsible to report to the president and not to the Senate. So I went for the opportunity for you to appeal from the Senate. And you are here. And we recognize that we have authority over you.
No, Honorable Senator, and with all due respect, I do not recall, and I pride myself with having a retentive memory. I do not recall, and under no circumstance will I willfully.
Because you are here now.
No, man, I'm telling you.
You are here now. So this is a judgment day.
We waited patiently for you to come. Honorable Chairman.
Honorable Senator, under no circumstance will I disrespect.
Because we can continue. Because Mr. Chair, let me make sure that part goes in your report.
Under no circumstance will I disrespect you.
Mr. Nominee, what's the relationship with the management of the staff?
Well, we have a good working relationship.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
As of
now, we have a very good working
Mr. Chairman, I got a lot of supporting documents to prove the contrary of some activities.
Yeah, so
I will give that to committee room.
I wanted to.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Vice Chair, under the circumstance, especially so that we have lost power, electricity. It's after 6 p.m. I will take it that it will meet the consent of the committee that we will continue this hearing at a date to be announced. Okay.
Okay, I'll be able to complete my.
Yeah. As, yeah. So this hearing is continued to a date to be announced. It is hereby so adjourned.